Listen to me carefully, because what I am about to say explains your entire life in a way you may have never understood before. For years, for decades even, you have wondered why so much of your journey happened quietly. You questioned why your obedience did not immediately lead to recognition, why your prayers seemed to echo back in silence, why your faithfulness appeared to go unnoticed. I tell you now, nothing about those years was empty, and nothing about them was wasted. What I was forming in you could not have been built in public. I was shaping you where applause could not interfere. I was strengthening you where ego could not grow. In the hidden years, I was not punishing you, and I was not delaying you. I was protecting you. You see, had I elevated you too early, it would have exposed cracks that had not yet been healed. Had I promoted you before the roots were deep, the weight of what you asked for would have crushed you instead of crowned you. So I kept you where my hands could work uninterrupted. There were seasons when you felt overlooked, when younger voices were heard while yours remained quiet. You assumed this meant you were being replaced, that your usefulness was fading with time. But I was doing something only time can do. Wisdom cannot be rushed. Endurance cannot be downloaded. Character cannot be microwaved. The very years you thought were holding you back were the years building the weight you now carry. I was expanding your capacity slowly, intentionally, patiently. In those unseen years, I taught you how to endure disappointment without becoming bitter. I taught you how to love when appreciation was absent. I taught you how to stay faithful even when outcomes were uncertain. Each tear you wiped away alone trained your spirit. Each prayer whispered when you were tired trained your faith. Each time you chose integrity over convenience, I strengthened your foundation. You thought you were merely surviving. I tell you now, you were being constructed. You learned things in silence that noise could never teach you. You learned discernment through betrayal. You learned humility through waiting. You learned mercy by recognizing your own need for grace. I allowed your heart to be broken not to harm you, but to soften you. A hardened heart cannot carry my power safely. A proud heart cannot steward my blessing long term. So I took my time with you, because what I am preparing to release requires depth, not speed. You wondered why doors closed just as you thought they were opening. You wondered why opportunities slipped through your fingers despite your effort. But some doors had to close because they would have locked you into a version of yourself that was too small for what I intended. Some paths would have satisfied your impatience but starved your purpose. I was not denying you. I was redirecting you. I was guiding you away from what was good so you could be ready for what is aligned. In the hidden years, I also healed things you did not know were wounded. I addressed fears you had buried under responsibility. I confronted beliefs you inherited that limited what you could receive. I rewired how you see yourself, how you see me, and how you understand worth. This kind of healing does not happen quickly. It happens slowly, layer by layer, truth by truth, until strength replaces survival. You may think aging has taken things from you. I tell you the truth. Time has refined you. What you have now is discernment that youth cannot imitate. What you have now is resilience forged through storms that did not destroy you. What you have now is authority that comes from having walked with me through valleys and still standing. The hidden years did not weaken you. They matured you. I also positioned people around you during those years, some who stayed and some who left. Each relationship served a purpose. Those who left taught you to depend on me instead of approval. Those who stayed taught you loyalty and covenant. Even the painful separations were necessary, because where I am taking you requires clarity about who belongs in your next season. Not everyone who walked with you in preparation can walk with you in manifestation. Understand this clearly. I do not reveal everything at once because revelation without readiness creates ruin. You asked me why I kept you waiting, and I answer you now. I was aligning heaven and earth. I was synchronizing timing, people, circumstances, and maturity. I was ensuring that when you stepped forward, you would not have to step back again to fix what was unfinished. You may feel that your strength is not what it once was, but I tell you that dependence is now stronger than ambition ever was. You no longer rely on force. You rely on wisdom. You no longer rush. You discern. You no longer chase validation. You value obedience. These are not losses. These are upgrades. These are the marks of someone who has been prepared properly. What you endured privately qualified you publicly. What you carried quietly gave you authority to speak loudly when the time comes. The prayers you prayed when no one joined you have filled bowls in heaven that are now tipping. The faith you maintained without evidence has caught my attention in ways you cannot yet see. I say this to you with certainty. You are not late, and you are not forgotten. You are seasoned. You are equipped. You are ready in ways you could not have been before. The hidden years were not an absence of movement. They were movement beneath the surface. Roots were growing. Strength was forming. Alignment was happening. Now lift your eyes and understand what those years truly mean. They mean you can carry what is coming. They mean you will not misuse what I release. They mean your breakthrough will stand because it is built on depth, not impulse. Everything that needed to happen in secret has happened. What was formed in you is solid. And because it is solid, it is about to be seen. Hear me now, because many of you have misunderstood the nature of what I am about to do in your life. You have been praying for improvement in one area while bracing yourself for continued struggle in others. You learned to lower expectations, to accept partial relief, to hope cautiously. But I tell you plainly, when I move, I do not move halfway. I am not a God of fragments. I am a God of fullness. What I release is not a patch, not a temporary fix, not a single answered prayer isolated from the rest of your life. When I bring breakthrough, it touches everything. You assumed survival was the goal because that is all you have known for so long. You learned how to manage pain, how to cope with limitation, how to endure imbalance. But I did not design you merely to endure. I designed you to live whole. The reason the wait felt so long is because I was not preparing a narrow answer to a narrow request. I was preparing a comprehensive shift. I was aligning finances, health, relationships, purpose, and peace at the same time. Had I released one without the others, the imbalance would have created new burdens instead of freedom. I know you prayed for financial relief while ignoring the strain it would place on unresolved emotional wounds. I know you asked for restored health without realizing how bitterness was weakening your spirit. I know you asked for peace while holding on to fear. I am merciful enough not to answer prayers in ways that would harm you. So I waited until alignment was possible. I waited until healing could run deeper than symptoms. I waited until restoration could be sustainable. You must understand that partial victory creates false confidence. It convinces you that you are whole when you are still fractured. I refuse to leave you that way. I refuse to open one door while leaving the others sealed. I refuse to bless you financially while leaving your mind tormented. I refuse to strengthen your body while your relationships collapse. When I act with intention, coordination, and completeness. This is why the preparation touched every area of your life. I allowed pressure in multiple directions because I was strengthening your entire structure. I was teaching you how to stand balanced. I was removing dependencies that would have caused collapse once blessing arrived. What felt like overwhelming complexity was actually comprehensive training. You were not being attacked from all sides. You were being reinforced on all sides. You may look back and wonder why everything seemed to be tested at once. Your faith, your patience, your health, your finances, your relationships. You asked me why relief did not come sooner. The truth is this: relief would have delayed readiness. Ease would have preserved weakness. I was building resilience across the board so that when breakthrough arrives, you do not lose it through neglect, fear, or mismanagement. I do not separate the areas of your life the way you do. You compartmentalize, but I see the whole. I see how your emotional state affects your body. I see how your beliefs affect your decisions. I see how unresolved grief affects your faith. So when I move holistically. I restore systems, not just symptoms. I heal roots, not just branches. You are entering a season where improvement will not be isolated. You will notice clarity in your mind while peace settles in your heart. You will notice opportunities opening while confidence returns. You will notice strength in your body while joy resurfaces. This is not coincidence. This is coordination. This is the result of years of unseen alignment finally converging. Do not be alarmed if the shift feels sudden. Sudden does not mean unprepared. Sudden means the work is finished. What has been developing quietly is now ready to be revealed publicly. The breakthrough will feel swift because the preparation was slow. You will look back and realize that every delay was adding stability to what is now emerging. I want you to release the belief that you must choose which area gets healed and which area must remain broken. That belief did not come from me. I do not ration my power. I do not measure out my goodness in small portions to keep you dependent. I desire wholeness for you, especially now. The years ahead are not meant to be spent repairing what should have been healed earlier. They are meant to be lived with clarity, purpose, and peace. You have reached a stage in life where you understand the cost of fragmentation. You have seen what imbalance does over time. This wisdom is part of why I am trusting you with comprehensive restoration now. You will not squander it. You will not misuse it. You will recognize it as sacred stewardship. Do not minimize what is coming by assuming it must be small because you have waited so long. Waiting does not shrink the promise. Waiting strengthens the vessel. The length of the process is directly connected to the weight of the release. What I am about to do must rest on a foundation that can hold it without cracking. I am telling you this so you will not panic when multiple things begin to change at once. You will be tempted to think it is too much, too fast. But remember this. It only feels fast because you forgot how long I have been working. Trust the process that brought you here. Trust the wisdom that has been formed in you. Trust me enough to receive fully what I am giving completely. This is not a season of partial answers. This is not a season of managing brokenness. This is not a season of surviving from one relief to the next. This is a season of alignment, restoration, and wholeness. I am not fixing one piece of your life. I am restoring the whole. Listen to me, because this chapter speaks directly to the weight you have carried for years without saying a word. Many of you have lived faithfully on the outside while quietly condemning yourselves on the inside. You smile, you serve, you endure. Yet beneath it all, you replay moments you wish you could undo. You measure your present worth against past mistakes. You assume that because time has passed, because opportunities were missed, because choices were imperfect, your usefulness has been reduced. I tell you now, that belief did not come from me. You have misunderstood grace. You thought grace was something given at the beginning and withdrawn later if you failed too often. You thought mercy had an expiration date. You assumed patience runs out with age. But I am not like man. My grace is not seasonal, and my mercy does not diminish with time. If anything, grace becomes more visible the longer you walk with me, because you finally understand how much you need it. You look back and see failures where I see formation. You see regret where I see redemption. You see disqualification where I see testimony. The enemy has tried to convince you that your past has veto power over your future. I tell you plainly, it does not. Your past is not stronger than my promise. Your mistakes are not louder than my mercy. Your regret is not greater than my redemption. Some of you still carry guilt for things no one else remembers. You punish yourself privately, even though I forgave you completely. You keep reopening wounds I already healed. You revisit verdicts I already overturned. I need you to understand something clearly. When I forgive, I do not reconsider. When I redeem, I do not revise. When I restore, I do not keep score. You think too much time has passed for correction. You think you should have known better. You think you wasted years I cannot restore. But I am the God who redeems time. I am the God who brings fruit from seasons that looked barren. I am the God who resurrects what you thought was buried permanently. Age does not intimidate me. History does not limit me. Failure does not repel me. I have used people with far worse records than yours to accomplish far greater things than you imagine. Not because they earned it, but because they trusted my grace more than their shame. Grace is not permission to stay broken. Grace is power to stand again without fear. Grace is not a reward for performance. Grace is the foundation for transformation. You have been thinking that obedience now cannot make up for disobedience then. That is not true. Obedience at any stage realigns you with my purpose. Faithfulness today still matters. Surrender now still opens doors. Humility in this season still attracts my hand. Do not underestimate what I can do with a heart that finally rests in my mercy. Some of you feel unworthy to ask me for more because you believe you should be grateful for what you already have after all your mistakes. But gratitude does not require self-denial. I did not spare grace so you could live cautiously. I poured it out so you could live confidently. You do not honor me by settling beneath what I promised. You honor me by trusting me enough to receive it. You have also judged yourself by standards I never set. You compare your journey to others who started earlier, moved faster, seemed stronger. You forget that I assign differently. I restore uniquely. I redeem personally. The measure of your life is not how clean your record looks, but how fully you trust me with it. Regret has tried to convince you that your best years are behind you. I tell you, your most honest years are here. Your most surrendered years are here. Your most discerning years are here. These are the years I use most effectively, because ambition has quieted and obedience has deepened. You are no longer trying to prove yourself. You are finally willing to trust me fully. I am not asking you to forget the past. I am asking you to see it correctly. What you survived did not disqualify you. It refined you. What you endured did not weaken you. It humbled you. What you regret did not destroy you. It taught you mercy. And mercy is a powerful tool in my hands. You think grace is passive. It is not. Grace is active power working beneath your weakness. Grace is what allowed you to keep breathing when shame told you to give up. Grace is what kept you standing when regret tried to collapse you. Grace is what has carried you quietly into this moment where you are finally ready to stop punishing yourself and start trusting me. I do not need a perfect record from you. I need a surrendered heart. I do not need you to relive your failures. I need you to release them. I do not need you to explain yourself. I need you to receive what I am offering. Your honesty matters more than your history. Your humility matters more than your resume. Hear me now and let this settle deeply within you. You are not tolerated. You are chosen. You are not barely accepted. You are fully embraced. You are not disqualified. You are redeemed. And redeemed people do not live looking backward. They live looking upward and forward, confident that grace will finish what mercy began. This chapter of your life is not about paying for the past. It is about walking free from it. I have already dealt with what you keep rehearsing. I have already forgiven what you keep revisiting. I have already redeemed what you keep regretting. Let it go now. Trust me with it fully. Because what lies ahead requires hands no longer weighed down by shame. Grace has carried you this far, and grace will carry you forward. Listen closely now, because this chapter addresses the quiet questions you have asked me when no one else was listening. You wondered why your life unfolded the way it did. You questioned the timing of your breakthroughs, the length of your waiting, the seeming slowness of your progress. You watched others move ahead while you remained where you were, and you tried to reconcile that with, my goodness. I tell you now, my timing has never been accidental, and your waiting has never been meaningless. You live by clocks and calendars. You measure life in years, decades, seasons. I move by purpose. I operate in appointed moments. There are things I can do instantly, and there are things that require alignment across heaven and earth. Your life is not late. It is precise. What you call delay was divine sequencing. What you call waiting was preparation converging with timing. I know comparison has been one of your greatest struggles. You watched people who seemed less faithful receive what you prayed for. You saw doors open for others while yours remained shut. You asked me if you were forgotten, overlooked, or set aside. But comparison distorts vision. It convinces you that my faithfulness is inconsistent when it is actually personal. I do not mass-produce destinies. I custom design them. What you could not see was what I was protecting you from by not moving sooner. Some blessings you admired would have overwhelmed you at the time. Some platforms you envied would have exposed wounds you were not ready to manage. Some successes you desired would have distracted you from the deeper work I was doing within you. I withheld nothing out of cruelty. I delayed nothing out of neglect. Everything unfolded according to wisdom. Your journey required a different kind of depth. Others needed speed. You needed stability. Others needed exposure. You needed refinement. Others needed momentum. You needed maturity. This is why your process felt longer. I was not punishing you with time. I was trusting you with weight. Stop revisiting moments you think should have been different. Stop rewriting history with regret. You did not miss me. You were guided by me, even when you did not understand the route. Every detour served a purpose. Every pause had a reason. Every closed door protected you from something you could not yet see. Now let me speak to you about suddenly. Suddenly does not mean without warning. Suddenly does not mean without cause. Suddenly is what happens when preparation meets appointed time. To you it feels instant. To me it is the culmination of years of unseen work. You think it appears overnight, but I have been building it quietly for a lifetime. Throughout your life, I have been aligning circumstances, hearts, resources, and timing. I have been placing people where they need to be. I have been removing obstacles you could not fight. I have been shifting things behind the scenes while you thought nothing was happening. When suddenly arrives, it will feel surprising only because you underestimated how much was already done. Do not be startled when things change quickly. Do not shrink back when momentum accelerates. Do not question whether you deserve it. Suddenly is not about deserving. It is about readiness. And you are ready now in ways you were not before. You can carry it without losing yourself. You can steward it without fear. You can receive it without guilt. Your age does not disqualify you from suddenly. In fact, it qualifies you. You now have perspective instead of impulse. You have discernment instead of desperation. You have gratitude instead of entitlement. These are the qualities that sustain blessing. I trust you with suddenly because you will not waste it trying to prove anything. Some of you thought suddenly was reserved for the young. That is not true. Suddenly belongs to the obedient. Suddenly belongs to the faithful. Suddenly belongs to those who waited without walking away. You stayed when it was easier to quit. You believed when it would have been easier to harden your heart. You trusted me even when answers did not come quickly. Now hear this clearly. Suddenly does not erase the past. It redeems it. Suddenly does not ignore the waiting. It honors it. Suddenly does not cancel the process. It completes it. When it comes, you will realize that nothing you endured was wasted. Everything converged to bring you to this moment. Stop comparing timelines. Stop measuring yourself against others. Their suddenly does not delay yours. Their blessing does not diminish yours. What I have prepared for you cannot be taken, duplicated, or reassigned. It is secured by my promise and released by my timing. I am asking you now to trust me at a deeper level than ever before. Trust that I know when. Trust that I know how. Trust that I know why. Release the anxiety that comes from watching others. Release the fear that time has run out. Release the assumption that your window has closed. Your window is opening. You are standing at the edge of an appointed moment. What has been forming quietly is ready to emerge boldly. What was hidden is about to be seen. What was delayed is about to be delivered. Do not rush ahead of me, and do not lag behind. Walk with me in confidence. Your suddenly will not look like chaos. It will look like clarity. It will feel right. It will fit. It will align with who you have become, not who you used to be. And when it arrives, you will know without doubt that it could not have happened any earlier, and it could not have happened any other way. Trust my timing. Release comparison. Prepare your heart. Suddenly is not coming randomly. It is coming purposefully. And it is coming for you.